Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lewis, as always. This is your first time, welcome. If this is your multiple times, welcome back. This week, it's been a bit slow. Yeah, it was just all those Zoom trivias I did for my birthday last week sort of tired me out. And back at uni now, so yeah, more Zoom, always Zoom. So we got 4 books done. I'll tell you about them, and then we will go through what I hope to read in August, not necessarily all of them, but some of them, and then what I'm studying for my last ever semester of uni. This will be my 12th, I think. I've been at uni 5.5 years. I'm sure the maths is wrong or right. I don't know. I'm not a maths student. So, to start off the week, I read Ray Bradbury's Long After Midnight. I've been a big fan of Bradbury for a while. I rated some of Dad's old books a while ago. So I've got a bunch of the old Granada and the Panther ones. This one, apparently it's got stories you can only find in this. There's this one story, I forget the name, but he goes back to his hometown to kill someone. And I'll read it excerpt from here. I believe it is called... Anyway, I'll put the title in the edit. But the quote was, "They say you can't go home again. That is a lie. If you are lucky and time it right, you arrive at sunset when the old town is filled with yellow light." And I think it's just really different because opposed to a lot of the other Bradbury collections I've read, it's not a lot of science fiction. It's more just not like slice of life, but like about that human quality of a science fiction or science. Like, don't get me wrong, there's some excellent sci-fi short stories in there, but it's much more about humanness in this. And then we did the short little What If We Stop Pretending by Jonathan Franzen, with a short little interview with another environmentalist. Yeah, it is. It's a worrying read. It's not an exciting read by any stretch of the imagination. Since I am under 30, I will most likely experience the full effects of anthropogenic climate change, the Anthropocene as a whole. And Franzen makes a really good argument there's no real good arguments in terms of climate change, really, or the catastrophe. But it's like, yes, we need to shift away our thinking from this is still preventable to more mitigation rather than just outright prevention. I don't see that sort of thinking happening, but it may be necessary to think like that coming up. Next up, a happier read, Richard Osman's The Thursday Murder Club. If you have been served by me at my job, I didn't shut up about this book when it came out, mostly because I like Richard Osman. Never read it till now. I'm annoyed at that. But yeah, it's a wonderfully sweet novel. I'm not usually a crime man, but Osman did sell it to me. I did not pick the twist endings. Not going to say anything more about the endings, but yeah. And then we also have Lot Moller, I think I'm saying it correctly, Bees and Their Keepers. It's a non-fiction title. It's a history of beekeeping, and it's more of a social history more than anything. It is very Swedish-centric, which is fine by me. I've got no problems with that. And it's just a really sweet, fascinating read about bees and their keepers. I'm not planning on becoming an apiarist or having an apiary at the moment, mostly because I live in a flat. There's no real room for that. But at some point, if I can ever own land, I will try and cultivate a native bee-friendly garden. Fun fact, this book tells you about the Bee Civil War. I'm not going to tell you much more about that because I want you to read it. So, August, big month, 31 days. Yeah, well and truly into the second half of the year now. I've got some books that have been on the go for a while, but I've never really sat down and read because I just wasn't particularly vibing them, but I'm going to make a concerted effort to try and read them. So we have The Only Plane in the Sky, an oral history of 9/11. I'm a huge fan of oral histories. World War Z is fantastic. As you saw last week, The End of Men by Christina Sweeney Baird. It's awesome. I'm planning to read the book that inspired World War Z, but I think it's a fascinating way of storytelling. And because I wasn't really old enough to remember 9/11, nor am I American, I think it's going to be a really insightful look. Pretty much the reason I've been reading it is it's really depressing. Then we also have Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs by Catelyn Doughty. I read Smoke Gets in Your Eyes last year, and this year I finished her other book, From Here to Eternity. There we go. Thank you, Brain. Hasn't quit on me yet. Until I started reading this, I didn't realize it was about kids' questions and designed as a kids' book. I just ignored the subtitle of Big Questions from Tiny Mortals About Death, but it should be easy to just power through and get done. Because, it is good to be able to talk about death with children and small people. We also have The Age of Football, The Global Game in the 21st Century by David Goldblatt. This thing is quite a hefty little read. I say little, not little remotely. So I've been doing this more or less a chapter a week, chapter every 2 weeks. But it's very, very, very thick and very, very long. And I love football history, but there's only so much you can really do in 1 or 2 sittings before it just sort of zonks you out. I know I'm late to the party with this one, but Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. I've had this sitting on my shelves for a while now, and I figured it's probably time to do it. They've just announced season 2, season 3, and I think they've announced another project. It should be good. We have The Doctor Who Fooled the World, Andrew Wakefield's War on Vaccines. Very typical or topical at the moment. Before you start a fight more in the comments, I'm very much for vaccination. Andrew Wakefield is the doctor who first linked the MMR vaccine to a rise in autism. So I think it'll be a fascinating sort of medical history and approach to that, and because you don't get a lot of the background and the driving impetus about why we have that sort of subcurrent of anti-vax stuff in their movements. And I really like medical memoirs and medical investigations. We also have another real happy book, Fake Law by The Secret Barrister. Who they are, we don't know. Well, they know who they are. I don't know who they are. I really enjoyed books by anonymous people. Emma Larkin's Finding George Orwell in Burma, even though that's pseudonymous, not anonymous. But I think, I'm not a law student, but I think it's a really fascinating way to expose that sort of stuff. And it does have some crossover with the whole medical stuff that I quite enjoy. And it should just be fun. I know a lot of law students, so they should be able to help me out with all the jargon. If not, I will just sink or swim, more or less. Some fiction titles now. Some more fiction titles. We have The Girl and the Stars by Mark Lawrence. Huge fan of The Broken Empire and The Red Queen's War. There's one Mark Lawrence over there. I haven't got the 3 little novellas now. Three novellas. One Would Kill, all those. Just haven't been able to order them in at work, more or less. This one, I don't quite enjoy ever as much as the Earth-like Planet, or the Earth version that he had in his other books, but it's Mark Lawrence. You're always guaranteed some cracking writing, some cracking action scenes. I've just been slowly chipping away at that. It's got The Girl on the Mountain, and the 3rd one should be coming out next year, so I've got a while for that. We also have John Gwynn's Shadow of the Gods. First learned about this book on Instagram. I had a big dragon on the cover. It was sold. Very good Viking-based fantasy so far. Sort of just been Vikinged out because I've been buying Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and there's a lot of crossover with terms of what the language is and all of that. I've never actually read any John Gwynn before, but so far it's been very interesting. I've been enjoying it. We also have this lovely edition of The Library at Mount Char by Scott Hawkins. I've heard a load of good stuff about this book, tons online. and so far it's been really weird and really creepy and really cool. Yeah, I'm not going to say much more about that because I'm only 30 pages in and I don't want to say anything more or spoil it for myself, pretty much. If you like something that's off kilter, I would highly recommend. We have The Science of Rick and Morty. Season 5's coming out. It's been okay. Yeah, I'm a big fan of all the science books. I've enjoyed the science of Star Wars. I've got the Discworld ones to read. There's a couple of aliens ones I'm really interested in looking at. But yeah, science. I it seems very poppy science, and that's science, and I can understand. And then we also have The Atlas of Vanishing Places by Travis Elborough, whatever. They know how to pronounce it. I don't. So it is pretty much a atlas / map book about all these places that did exist and how they are today, or places that are vanishing at the moment. And I think that's a really interesting way of exploring the world, because we have a lot of places that are going under, being destroyed, whether that is man-made, whether that's anthropogenic, whether that is just time itself. And I think it's a really fundamental thing to try and understand what these places were, because when they're gone, we won't be able to understand them anymore. So, university. It is my final year of my degree. I'm doing a Bachelor of Creative Arts, majoring in creative writing, and a Bachelor of Arts, majoring in history and ancient history and archaeology. Ancient history archaeology is a separate major. I've also managed to fumble my way into a minor in philosophy this year, which has been exciting. I will do a video at some point down the line of everything I've had to read for uni. Not so much journal articles, but like books, novels, and that sort of stuff. So because my first ever semester, way back when in the heady days of 2016, I decided to do 5 subjects, 5 days a week, which, as you know, well, as many of my uni mates know, it's just not something you do. I decided, you know what? Let's do 5 subjects again. So I am doing a history capstone subject, which is designed to be a capstone of your degree. My project is probably going to be doing something with Burma at the moment, mostly because I've been reading a lot about that, and you have to make it modern, because the whole history degree at the place I'm doing it at is very much modern. Otherwise, I'd be doing something very ancient. I'm also doing 2 philosophy subjects to fill out my minor. I only have to do 1, but figured, sure, why not? Let's do 2. I'm doing environmental ethics, which has been fascinating so far. I had my first lecture, and we showed a video of pig farming, and then some very intelligent crows in Japan. It should be fun. It should be a lot of debates, but it is what it is with that sort of stuff. And I'm also doing just regular ethics. I don't know much about regular ethics, even though I did bioethics last semester, which potentially might have been a misstep, but I really enjoyed bioethics. Should be fun, should be a good all-round general backing in terms of ethics. I'm also doing a non-physics, non-maths based astronomy course. As I've said before, I'm not much of a mathematician or a physicist, funnily enough. The two seem to go hand in hand. So this should be a fun way to just ride out my last sem of uni in a bit of style, a bit of fun. And because climate change is a rather pressing topic and I can write loads about it, I'm doing a first year science climate change course, which probably don't have to do. I'm probably going to be the oldest student in that in terms of like age. It's a first year subject, and also like, you know, being at uni for so long, but it should be fun, should be fine. I'm also hoping, didn't talk about it because I haven't got all the copies yet. I'm going to try and have another crack at the Wheel of Time and June, because they're both coming up. Apart from that, I will see you next week. It will be well into August. We'll see how we go. See you then.